What's up, everybody? Today I want to take a couple minutes and go through debating whether or not Spyderco knives are worth purchasing in the year 2024. It's been a crazy year so far in the whole knife industry. There have been lots of things that have come out, and lots of models, lots of brands have made different changes. All kinds of stuff has been going on. And we're just over halfway to the halfway point of the year now, and I think it's time to kind of talk about whether or not Spyderco is worth purchasing in 2024. I'll also do this with a couple other brands in the coming days here, if not tomorrow, and we'll kind of just discuss some of my thoughts on whether or not you're actually getting good value for the knife that you're purchasing. So to start out with Spyderco, I've never been, at least when I started getting into knives, I think like most people, I thought Spyderco made really ugly, boring knives. All these are just black. This one's camo. I just got this one. It's a little more fun. But the majority of their knives are very bland, and the designs are nothing flashy. I usually point to Benchmade when I'm talking about flashier designs. They had the Osborne with the green and purple, very famous knife. Bug out comes in like a million colors. You can get whatever color you want, and just the design of I really like the Adamas series. The fixed Adamas is one of my favorite just looks on a knife, and a lot of the Adamas knives are as well. But Spyderco's looks don't really compete with that. They're pretty basic. Like the Paramilitary 2, super basic look, just black, silver. You can get a blacked out blade. You can get, I think they have navy blue and such, but really they don't compete with a lot of other brands on design. I also thought the hole is the pretty obvious part, especially if you're not super familiar with the brand and you're kind of just looking at all the brands out there. Doesn't really catch your eye. I mean, it does, but in a negative way. It doesn't make you say, okay, wow, that looks awesome. I really want one. And maybe some people are like that, but from what I have heard and talking to people and in my own experience, that was not the case. I always thought they're just boring. It's G10, basic steel, and they are a little pricier. They haven't always been, but they've started to raise their prices a little bit this year. That being said, as you can see, I've got a bunch of Spydercos here. I've got a couple other ones just laying around. I can kind of throw in the shot here. But that being said, I think for what you're paying for a Spyderco knife, they are by far the best value of almost any other American-made kind of working knife brand on the market. I have never had a single problem with a Spyderco knife. Their warranty is allegedly amazing. However, I've never had a single problem. This is a Manix 2, really famous model, factory second. You can see by that little notch on the blade there. I'm not sure if you can see with the glare. But there's a little notch on the blade there, an extra notch. That means this is a factory second. So that means this was not up to their standards from the factory. So you get it at like half price. I bought one off just like eBay or something. I could not even tell you what's wrong with this. It works perfectly. There's just absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I feel like that goes to show, how high their standards are for quality control. Same with this Native Chief, which I don't really use a whole lot. This is a factory second just because the G10 was a little beat up. But otherwise, there's nothing wrong with this knife. Half price, M390 steel, G10, awesome knife. I don't use it. I'll probably sell it at some point. But again, just the fact that there's really nothing wrong with most of these factory seconds really shows you how high their standards are, unlike a lot of other brands on the market today. So that being said, with Spyderco, you know that you're going to get a really high quality product every single time. I just got the Bodacious. I don't think it's, as of today, their newest release anymore, but it is one of their newest release models. It's not like a sprint run or something. And I was working outside trying to pry stuff with this. You cannot wiggle the blade in the slightest. The action is real nice. Very snappy. It's awesome. I take the clips off a lot of Spydercos, but that's just personal preference thing. But again, never had a problem. The grinds are typically perfect. You can see just how much time they put into sharpening and the quality control that goes into that. So a lot of people are getting a little upset with Spyderco right now because the prices of like the Bodacious, the Shaman, I still don't know what to call it. But they're getting quite expensive, and it's just very basic, like I mentioned before, basic black G10 S30V steel. So it's nothing like a crazy new innovation in terms of steel, even though Spyderco does do that. But in terms of these really popular models, they're like $250, and it's very basic materials. That being said, as well, I know I keep saying that, but every other month or so, Spyderco's will typically have a very large sale where you can buy knives on sale. I don't think I've ever paid over $200 for a Spyderco. Like, these are brand new models. I paid $200 for both of these on Father's Day sale and then 4th of July sale. So all you have to do is be patient, and you don't have to pay the prices. Spyderco is raising their prices, but if you just wait for them to go on sale, it really is a non-issue. So I'm not going to knock them for that. The only complaint that I have with Spyderco is their pivots. I think they use like red Loctite or something on the pivot screws. So I literally cannot. I've tried for a very long time. I just got this Bodacious, and I cannot get this pivot to budge. I've put it in hot. I don't have a heat gun or a soldering iron or something, so I put it in hot water. I've used a hair dryer. I have tried a bunch of stuff. So I think my next move is going to be heating up a nail and kind of putting on there as a makeshift soldering gun. I would not recommend doing that at all, but I'm going to try and do that and see if I get this pivot undone. But that's, again, you cannot wiggle this blade. So do I really care that I can't undo the pivot? No, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm sure if I sent it into them, they would happily fix that up for me. But that's almost like they're manufactured too well. So, I will say, I just ordered I'd never had a para 3 before in any model. My first Spyderco model was a paramilitary 2, and I loved it. I mean, it's really quality, but again, none of the designs really grow me, so I didn't get another Spyderco for a very long time. But I ordered a para 3 for a buddy, like just as a gift to give to him, because I know they're supposed to be a really nice model, and I got it. And I immediately was like, this is amazing. It came perfect from the factory. So I ordered myself one para 3 lightweight, came like this exactly from the factory. Not a single wiggle in the blade. This is just plastic. The blade is not wiggling at all. And it's perfectly drop shut. I didn't oil, like there's no oil on it. You can hear it kind of grinding a little bit. I have not oiled it. I've not done anything to it. And it just came absolutely perfect from the factory. The edge is, look at that. It's just perfect edge, perfect grind. I got this for $100 on sale. So again, awesome deal, especially compared to something like the Bug Out. And again, I'm not gonna rag on Benchmade too much, but this is basically the same thing. Maybe a little bit better steel on the Bug Out if you wanna talk about steel, but basically the same thing. Plastic handles, similar in size. This is $60 or $70 cheaper than the Bug Out. And even when it's full retail price, I think it's like $50-ish cheaper than the Bug Out. So it's just, it comes perfect. It's gonna be durable. I've used this a bunch already. I've had it like a week and I've used it a bunch already. It's just fun. It's fun to use. You know exactly what you're getting. The pocket clip is great. It's really basic knife. And again, it's not like the best looking knife on the market, but if you want a knife that's just gonna last a long time, that is really well made, on sale, I think they're pretty reasonably priced, and they're continuing to innovate with steel and such. I've really kind of changed my opinion from a Benchmade guy to an absolute Spyderco guy. Like I've totally fallen in love with this brand. It's so hard not to once you get a couple of different models in your hand and just feel them out. I think it's amazing, and I think what they're doing is amazing. They're really trying to bring a lot of production back to the USA. As you'll notice, a lot of these, if not all these, the only non-Golden Colorado model that I have is the Tenacious, which was made in China, and even that thing is still awesome. Like I've used that to work with, and it doesn't feel like a lot of these other cheaper feeling knives that are made in China. And that's not to rag on knives that are made in China. There's some great stuff being made over there. I try to buy American made. So these are all from the Golden Colorado factory, made in the USA, and they're trying to bring a lot of production back, which is great. So I cannot recommend Spyderco enough. It's got to be at this point, I can confidently say now, my #1 brand. And are they worth it in 2024? I would absolutely say yes. Just make sure you wait for them to go on sale. Just be patient if you're shopping for one. They do go on sale frequently. The next sale at this point, at the time of this video, will probably be like Labor Day. So about a month or so, I'd say. I think Labor Day is the beginning of September. So keep an eye out there. It'll probably be the next big one. And if not that, then I don't know, like Halloween or something. They do sales frequently. You just got to check the big websites, and I'll make a video on how to kind of shop around for deals at some point. But not to get too far off track, would I recommend a Spyderco? Absolutely. Definitely get your hands on one, and you will fall in love with them, as I have, especially after being a huge Benchmade supporter in the past. I've totally switched over to Spyderco. So thank you for watching. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know what your favorite brand is right now. Let me know if you think Spydercos are worth purchasing in 2024. Let me know your favorite Spyderco if you've got one. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you to those of you who are subscribed, and please let me know what else you'd like to see in the future.